DeepSeek harness just got released 3 days ago, and it has already crossed 135,000 stars on GitHub, which is super impressive. What is it, and does it actually live up to the hype? Let's take a look. We'll start by taking it out for a spin, so we'll install it, run it, and test it. Then we'll look at what makes it different. And the killer feature is that everything is a plugin that can be extended or modified. DeepSeek harness is a web application. We need Node.js to run it. We can either run the package directly using npx or clone the repo, build it, and then start it. Once that's done, the web UI will be available on localhost port 3080, and that's what I have here. So I said hi, I got an answer, and this harness is model agnostic, so we can either use the DeepSeek models by specifying an API key here, or add one of the available providers, or even add a custom one using a self-hosted model. This looks pretty normal, so what makes this harness so special? A large language model is simply a black box. It gets some input in the form of text, and then it generates output tokens, text, one at a time. As far as the LLM is concerned, it's not capable of executing functions or calling tools. If we have a coding agent, what we do is we provide a list of tool definitions, so edit file, read file, run bash commands, and then that's available in the system prompt. And when we ask the LLM to do something, it will emit the name of that tool call, then the environment, the harness in which the LLM is running will watch out for those tool calls, actually execute the tool calls, then add the result of the call to the LLM's context. The LLM only chooses which tools to call and their arguments, then the environment, which is controlled by the harness, will actually execute those tools, and then the results are added to the context, and we keep going until the LLM, which has the intelligence layer, is satisfied and stopped. And then when we provide some other input and we have the existing context, the LLM answers, and it generates some more tool calls, and we keep going until the task is completed. So the harness is responsible of this whole orchestration. Looking at this web UI, this input field takes in our input, the user input, then that request is forwarded back to the LLM. The LLM has access to a list of tools, it generates some text and then decides which tools to call, then sends that response. The harness's logic will then wait out for that response and watches out for the tool calls, executes them, and things keep going. So the DeepSeek harness has two features, in my opinion, that make it stand out. The first one is what they call the trajectory. So we can see here we have this extra tab, and within it we have all the details of what happened, exact traces. So the system prompt, the list of tools the model has had access to, and then what the user said, the additional context, the tool calls, and this is searchable. And we can even select periods of time that interest us. This, in my opinion, by itself is a very powerful feature, and having access to so much information in such a convenient way is really cool. Okay, let's get to the meat and potatoes. In DeepSeek harness, everything is a plugin. What do we mean by that? So the DeepSeek harness is built on top of Cordis, and Cordis is described in this paper, so a programming paradigm for spatiotemporal composability. Modern software, from plugin systems to self-evolving agent harnesses, increasingly requires dynamic composition. Yet, its formal foundations remain underdeveloped. We identify two orthogonal dimensions of the problem: temporal composability, the ability to completely revert a component's side effect upon removal, and spatial composability, the ability to declare and reactively manage inter-component dependencies. So we have components that can be enabled or disabled without affecting the whole thing, without affecting the whole harness. We can define a plugin, what it does and how it cleans up after itself. Whether we enable it or disable it, the whole thing stays the same. And these different components interact with each other, and they add functionality that can be used by other components, but it is done in an independent manner, and it's very pluggable and extendable. So with plugins, the harness is easily customizable. They have a few examples on how it can be done. So the user interface can be customized. They ask it to add a whale to the web UI, and we can see that a whale gets added. Ask it to add a snake game to the UI in case you want to play while you code. Or you can even customize a whole workflow. They ask it to customize the code review mode. Essentially, the idea is if all the bits and pieces are plugins that are clearly defined, you can either change their implementation or disable them. The key idea is that the UI in itself is made out of plugins, and the model is a plugin, and the tool calls are plugins, and the agent loop that orchestrates everything is a plugin. Each plugin has clear definition, and it can be added, extended, modified, or removed. And so when we have this flexibility, then we can make changes as we please. When we start a new session, we have different modes. We have the standard mode, which has access to the full coordination capabilities. There is the minimal mode. We have another mode called the creator mode. In here, we can modify the plugins with the DeepSeek harness plugin system. Everything is dynamic. So when you modify a plugin, it gets updated without having to rebuild the application or relaunch it. So let's give that a shot. Creator mode. I'm going to ask it to add the plugin that adds a flashing rectangle on the bottom left when enabled. Okay, so I got prompted if I want to accept this plugin, and I will approve it. And let me move my camera. So we have a flashing rectangle on the bottom left. Let's stop for a second and think about what happened. We asked the model to modify itself, to modify its own harness, and that changed, got added. We were asked for approval, then it got applied. I'm going to ask it to add a setting to configure the color and size of the rectangle. As we can see, the LLM is calling Cordis tools. Cordis is the plugin system and the new programming paradigm DeepSeek harness is using. As we can see here, the model is writing code to make those changes. So we have some CSS changes, and then we wanted to add settings. We have a flashing rectangle portion for the size of the thing and its color. And when we apply it, it actually works. If we go to the Trajectory tab and look at the system prompt and the tools available for the LLM, we can see that there is a bunch of Cordis related tools. We have a Cordis define, which defines an immutable Cordis package for new plugin, use kind new, and so on and so forth. Model has access to a tool that allows it to define new plugins, and when this tool is called and then other Cordis related tools, then that plugin gets instantiated within the existing runtime and it gets applied. This plugin is ridiculously simple and it might look silly, but when we step back for a second and think about it, we are just scratching the surface. As they advertise here, everything is a plugin. The models are plugins, so we can add different models or different ways of calling a model. The agent loop is a plugin, so we can do things before calling a tool or after calling a tool. We can add some role-based access control. We can add some monitoring, some tracing. We can modify the loop logic. One simple example I'm thinking of is that if the LLM currently only accepts text, and in the function signature we can only pass text parameters, if there is a new model, a new API endpoint that's capable of accepting images and audio, then the LLM itself can extend the agent loop and change the signature and also add some new way of gathering that input data. In a way, if we get a smart enough LLM, it will be capable of self-modifying its code, its harness, and evolving it depending on the new requirements. And I think this doesn't have to be limited to coding agents or harnesses, any type of application. So if an app is built on top of such a framework such as Cordis, and it can have plugins and be modified without break-in, then if you have an LLM behind the scenes, then it can add new components, remove components, and truly customize the user experience. This is very wild when you think about it. I think this harness is a little bit more than just a coding agent. It is kind of a new way of thinking about applications and software. Definitely exciting. Anyway, I hope this has been informative. Let me know what you think in the comments. Till next time.